Jake the Snake Thompson, a former Army Ranger turned adventurer, had spent his entire life searching for the legendary eagle feather. The feather, said to possess spiritual powers, was rumored to be hidden deep within the Grand Canyon. Jake's obsession with the feather began when he was a child, listening to his grandfather's stories about the Navajo code talkers who had helped the Allies win World War II. Jake's grandfather, a Navajo code talker himself, had told him about the eagle feather and its significance in Navajo culture. As Jake grew older, his fascination with the feather only deepened. He spent years studying Navajo history and culture, learning about the ancient rituals and traditions that surrounded the feather. Finally, after years of preparation, Jake was ready to embark on his quest to find the feather. He packed his bags, said goodbye to his family, and set off for the Grand Canyon. As he arrived at the canyon, Jake was struck by its sheer scale and beauty. He spent hours exploring the rim, taking in the stunning views and marveling at the vast expanse of the canyon. But Jake knew that he couldn't stay on the rim forever. He needed to get down into the canyon itself, to search for the feather in the ancient ruins and hidden caves that dotted the landscape. As he made his way down into the canyon, Jake encountered his first obstacle, a treacherous trail that wound its way down the side of the canyon. The trail was steep and rocky, with sheer drop-offs and hairpin turns. But Jake was undaunted. He had spent years honing his skills as a rock climber and adventurer, and he knew that he could handle the trail. As he made his way down the trail, Jake encountered a beautiful and brilliant Navajo scientist named Dr. Sophia Little Deer. Sophia was studying the unique ecosystem of the Grand Canyon, and she was fascinated by the ancient ruins and hidden caves that dotted the landscape. Sophia was a member of the Navajo Nation, and she was deeply connected to the land and its traditions. She was also a skilled rock climber and adventurer, and she was not afraid to take risks. As Jake and Sophia met on the trail, they were immediately drawn to each other. They spent hours talking and laughing, sharing stories and experiences. But as they continued down the trail, Jake and Sophia encountered their first challenge, a group of rival treasure hunters who were also searching for the eagle feather. The treasure hunters were ruthless and well-armed, and they would stop at nothing to get what they wanted. Jake and Sophia knew that they had to be careful. They couldn't let the treasure hunters get their hands on the feather, or it would be lost forever. As they continued on their quest, Jake and Sophia encountered many more challenges. They navigated treacherous terrain, avoided deadly creatures, and solved complex puzzles. But through it all, they remained focused on their goal, to find the eagle feather and preserve the cultural heritage of the Navajo people. Finally, after days of searching, Jake and Sophia reached the ancient ruin where the feather was said to be hidden. They approached the ruin with caution, knowing that the treasure hunters were closing in. As they entered the ruin, Jake and Sophia were met with a breathtaking sight. A vast chamber filled with ancient artifacts and treasures. And at the center of it all, perched atop a pedestal, was the eagle feather. Jake and Sophia gasped in amazement, their eyes fixed on the feather. They knew that they had finally achieved their goal. But as they reached for the feather, they were confronted by the treasure hunters. A fierce battle ensued, with Jake and Sophia fighting to protect the feather and the treasure hunters fighting to claim it. In the end, Jake and Sophia emerged victorious, the feather safely in their possession. They stood together, holding the feather aloft, and knew that their quest had been worth it. As they made their way back to the rim, Jake turned to Sophia and said, "You know, I couldn't have done this without you. You're an amazing partner, and I'm so grateful to have you by my side." Sophia smiled, her eyes shining with tears. "I feel the same way, Jake. We make a great team." As they reached the rim, Jake and Sophia were greeted with a hero's welcome. The Navajo Nation celebrated their achievement, and the eagle feather was placed in a sacred museum where it remains to this day. Jake and Sophia's love story became a legend within the Navajo Nation, a reminder of the power of love and partnership to overcome even the toughest challenges. And as for Jake and Sophia, they continued to explore the world together, always seeking out new adventures and challenges. They knew that as long as they had each other, they could overcome anything.